At 94, Rose Martinez walks up 2 flights of stairs without holding onto the railing. She drives herself to the local library 3 times a week, where she volunteers with joy. Her doctor, who is 44 years younger, has a higher blood pressure than she does. But here's what shocks everyone. Just 9 years ago, Rose relied on a walker, took 12 different medications, and couldn't even open a jar of pickles by herself. So, what changed? It wasn't a miracle drug or a strict fitness regime. It was 5 surprisingly simple morning habits, ones most people have never even heard of. These are not the usual wellness tips you hear often. They're timeless practices Rose uncovered while reading about seniors who live past 100 in different cultures. The transformation in her life was so dramatic that even her physician was left speechless. Rose had worked for 35 years as a school teacher and lived a quiet, content life with her husband Carlos. But when Carlos passed at 82, her entire world collapsed. She slipped into depression. She stopped cooking, gained 35 pounds, was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and arthritis made everyday tasks painful. By the age of 85, she was using a walker, taking 12 prescriptions, and depending on her adult children for the smallest things. Everything changed the day she couldn't open a pasta jar and had to call her neighbor for help. That night, ashamed and exhausted, Rose made a decision that would change her story forever. She began researching how people over 100 stay active and sharp, and what she found shocked her and amazed everyone else. Her A1C dropped from 8.2 to 5.9, she lost 35 pounds, got off 8 medications, and got rid of a walker. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest health challenge after 60? These 5 morning habits that restored Rose's vitality might help you too. And don't worry, they're not based on extreme diets or exhausting workouts. Morning habit number 1. The sunrise ritual. This first habit might sound too simple to work, but science supports it. Every day at 6 a.m., Rose sits by her kitchen's east-facing window for exactly 15 minutes. No sunglasses, no eyeglasses, just her eyes exposed to natural morning light while she sips 16 ounces of room-temperature water. This routine activates her body's internal clock and helps rebalance her energy. Before we continue, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell so you won't miss what's next. Let's go deeper in part 2, where Rose reveals the second habit that brought her memory and joy back to life. But there's an important detail. The light must reach your eyes directly. No glasses, no glass panes, and it needs to happen within the first hour after waking up. If you don't have an east-facing window, step outside for 10 minutes, or use a 10,000 lux light therapy lamp. If leaving the house is difficult, sit wherever natural light can touch your face. Even on overcast days, sunlight is still stronger than indoor bulbs. Morning habit number 2. The gratitude and memory practice. Right after her sunrise routine, Rose moves to her second habit, deceptively simple, but scientifically powerful. She picks up a small notebook and writes 3 things she's grateful for. But here's the twist. For each one, she recalls a specific, detailed sensory memory. So instead of "I'm grateful for my family," she writes, "I'm grateful for my grandson Miguel's laugh when he opened the secret compartment in my old jewelry box. I can still hear how it echoed down the hallway and see his eyes sparkle." It might sound like just a feel-good exercise, but there's real science behind it. Research by Dr. Rick Hansen shows that replaying positive memories with rich details helps rewire our brains to better perceive joy and connection. For older adults facing isolation or memory loss, this can be life-changing. Rose admits she started this practice during one of her darkest periods. "I felt invisible, forgotten, like I didn't matter anymore," she says. At first, it was hard to name even one good thing. But after a few weeks, something shifted. She began noticing joy again, a wave from the mailman, the perfect warmth of her tea, a red bird landing on her windowsill. The act of remembering those tiny moments helped awaken her connection to life. The memory exercise plays a second role too. While many seniors focus on the fear of losing their memory, actively recalling details builds new neural pathways and strengthens recall. Rose found she was remembering not only old events more clearly, but also daily details, names, locations, conversations. If writing is hard due to arthritis or vision problems, you can say your gratitudes out loud or use voice apps. What matters is the detail, the scent, the temperature, the sound. Now I want to hear from you. What's a memory that still makes you smile? Drop it in the comments. You've already started rewiring your brain. And stay tuned, because the third habit corrects something 90% of people do wrong every single morning. Here's the morning mistake that was silently draining Rose's energy for years, and chances are, it's affecting you too. Like most people, she used to shuffle into the kitchen and reach straight for the coffee pot. But that one habit was quietly wreaking havoc on her body. Everything changed when she flipped the order of her routine. Now, before any caffeine or food, Rose drinks exactly 16 ounces of warm water with a pinch of pink Himalayan salt and fresh lemon juice. Why does this matter so much, especially for seniors? After a night's sleep, the body is dehydrated. Blood thickens, joints stiffen, and the brain starts the day in a slightly shrunken state due to fluid loss. Pouring coffee into that condition forces the adrenal system into overdrive, heightens cortisol, and adds inflammation. Rose uncovered this while studying elders from Okinawa, who start their mornings with a hydration ritual practiced for generations. Within 2 weeks of making this change, she noticed a major difference. The pain in her joints lessened, and her usual morning stiffness faded quickly. Warm water promotes circulation. The salt gives a small dose of electrolytes, something older adults often lack, and the lemon helps with digestion and delivers vitamin C. One concern many seniors share is frequent urination. Rose had it too. "I thought I'd be rushing to the bathroom all morning," she recalls. But the opposite happened. Her body began to absorb and use the water more efficiently. The key, she learned, is in both the temperature and the timing. Warm or room temperature water is absorbed better than cold, and waiting 30 minutes before coffee allows full hydration before caffeine starts its dehydrating effect. Rose prepares the mix the night before and keeps it by her sink. That visual cue reminds her what to do first. If you take medication in the morning, check with your doctor, but most people can safely hydrate this way without affecting dosage. What's your first drink each day? Is it coffee? Tea? Share in the comments. You might be surprised at the impact a small change can make. But Rose wasn't prepared for what came next. Habit number 4 takes just a few minutes in bed and could be the very thing that prevents a devastating fall. Morning habit number 4. The mobility wake-up. Before even placing her feet on the floor, Rose begins a gentle movement routine that primes her body for the day. It's not exercise, it's injury prevention. And for older adults, it can be life-saving. 10 circles in each direction for each foot. That's how Rose begins her day, stimulating blood flow to her feet and gently reactivating her balance system. Next, she gently brings one knee at a time toward her chest, holding each stretch for 15 seconds. This loosens hip flexors, which tend to tighten during the night. Then come shoulder rolls, 10 forward, 10 backward, all while still lying in bed. These help reset posture after years of looking downward at phones or books. Rose adds slow head turns, left to right, then up toward the headboard, and finally down toward her feet. Last, she finishes with what she calls wake-up wiggles, shaking her hands, feet, and fingers rapidly for 30 seconds to wake up her nervous system. There's solid science behind this. While we sleep, the fluid in our joints thickens, making early movement stiff and unsteady. These gentle pre-rise motions lubricate joints, stimulate circulation, and prepare the body for safe movement. Her physical therapist was astonished by her gains in flexibility and balance. But the true test came 6 months ago when Rose stepped on wet leaves outside a grocery store. Instead of falling flat, her body reacted. Her hips were flexible enough to adjust, and her balance sharp enough to recover. "I know that slip could have put me in the hospital," she says. "This habit saved me months in a rehab facility." Want to adapt this to your needs? If raising your knees is difficult, slide your legs gently along the mattress. If shoulder movement is limited, just rotate to a comfortable range. The key is consistency and attention to how your body feels. Rose listens to her body each morning. Some days she does the full sequence. Other days, just the ankle and finger movements. Her goal isn't perfection, it's readiness. She keeps a small timer on her nightstand and follows the same routine daily. This creates a ritual that gently signals her brain, it's time to start the day. Do you experience stiffness in the morning? How long does it last? Share your story in the comments below, because what comes next may surprise you. Habit number 5 isn't about the body, it's about something far more powerful. It's the habit that turned Rose from someone who felt invisible into the most beloved woman in her community. Rose Martinez, VO, "It felt silly at first," Rose admits. But Mrs. Chen cried. No one else remembered. That one tiny act started something she couldn't have imagined. Mrs. Chen began checking in on Rose too. Soon, Rose was calling other neighbors, sharing vegetables from her garden, even helping young teachers facing the same struggles she once had. Within 6 months, she'd become the unofficial connector of the entire neighborhood. The science behind this is stunning. Dr. Patricia Boyle's study at Rush University found that seniors with a strong sense of purpose experience 44% less cognitive decline and are 2.4 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. Research on the world's longest living people, the Blue Zones, shows that having a daily sense of purpose, what Okinawans call ikigai, can add up to 7 extra years to your life. But the impact isn't just about how long you live, it's about how well. Daily purpose reduces inflammation, improves immunity, enhances sleep, and significantly boosts happiness. Rose's transformation was obvious. Her children noticed she was more upbeat on the phone. Her doctor saw her posture and mood improve. Even her grocery cashier said she glowed differently. So, what's the secret? Be specific. Not, "I want to help people," but "Today I'll message my grandson about his soccer game," or "I'll thank the postal worker for her kindness." Rose keeps a running list in the same notebook as her morning gratitude. Simple acts like calling someone who might be lonely, sharing a favorite recipe, offering encouragement, writing a thank you card, or just listening with patience. Even if you have limited mobility or social contact, you can still make a difference. Online, positive comments on social media, a kind email, a virtual volunteer session, they all count. Rose insists the size of the gesture doesn't matter. "Some days, I just smile at everyone at the store," she says. You'd be surprised how much that changes a person's day. This small habit, the 5th in her morning sequence, gives her a mission. It sets her focus for the hours ahead and reminds her that she still matters. What's one way you contribute to others' lives today? Drop your idea in the comments. Because even the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest shifts. And now, we arrive at the final chapter. Rose's full transformation, from barely coping to fully thriving. Let me give you a clear picture that still amazes everyone who knows her. At 85, Rose was on 12 daily medications, needed a walker to move around, and carried an extra 35 pounds. She barely left home except for medical appointments, rarely called her children unless they reached out first, and spent most days watching television and feeling stuck in sadness. She was pre-diabetic with an A1C of 8.2, suffered from chronic joint pain, and relied on sleeping pills just to get a few hours of broken rest. Fast forward to now. At 94, Rose only takes 4 medications, drives herself to volunteer 3 times a week, and has more natural energy than people half her age. Her A1C dropped to 5.9, completely normal. She shed 35 pounds without dieting, now sleeps 7 to 8 hours without pills, and says her arthritis pain has reduced by 80%. But the physical shift is just part of the story. Today, Rose is the emotional anchor of her neighborhood. She regularly connects with over 30 people, mentors young teachers online, helps run a community garden, and is even learning Spanish to chat with new neighbors. Her doctor recently told her she has the heart of a 70-year-old and the cognitive clarity of someone decades younger. And she did it not with miracle drugs or extreme regimens, but through 5 consistent morning habits that function like a team. Morning light balances her hormones. Gratitude and memory work keep her mind sharp. Hydration eases pain and boosts digestion. Gentle movement prepares her body for the day. And daily purpose keeps her emotionally fulfilled. Rose Martinez VO, I'm not just getting by anymore, Rose says, her face glowing. I'm really living, for the first time in years. Now it's your turn. Choose just one of Rose's 5 habits. Try it for 1 week. Don't do it all at once. Rose didn't either. If sleep is your issue, start with the sunrise ritual. If you deal with joint pain, try the hydration practice first. Then come back and tell us in the comments what you noticed. Did you feel more energized? Sleep better? Feel more connected? If Rose's story inspired you, hit the like button, share this video with someone you care about, and subscribe for more tips to age with strength and purpose.